So we're now with part 2 with Dan, and he was telling us all these spiritual things and his beliefs. We even touched on past lives where you were a monk in Tibet and a librarian. How much do you actually remember about that past life?
Oh, you remember bits and pieces. You don't. Most people don't remember full lives in detail. We don't have to, but it's just somehow there's a deep knowing. So the difference between belief says, I don't really know. And as long as I believe, I feel I'm safe, and that's good enough. And it's the first step. But the more we're able to go within, through the body, and connect energetically, because we live in an energy field called an auric field, and that's the great spirit of who we are. And so, as we get more in touch with that, then we have access to more information. So we have these energy centers, and we learn to open those. We learn to bring in more energy. We learn to bring in higher dimensional energies. And all the time while you're grounded and in the earth, because everything electrical has to be grounded. So have you met some spiritual people of different traditions? It doesn't matter. And they can just repeat and say beautiful things, but you call them like they're spaced out. They're not grounded. They're not here. They can't take care of themselves. So you have to be really in your body and electrically grounded energetically in the earth. And when you learn that, then you can be present. And when you're present, then you just go through your day and everything happens by itself, because the greater part does everything. Everything in our life it always has. And that's the most shocking thing. And it's way beyond any religious teachings. It's nothing to do with the right or wrong. It's finding that connection and realizing that's what lives through me. So all my years of traveling, I would speak out loud. Oh my God, did you see that? Did you hear that? I'm talking to something that is watching everything through me. Everything in my life. And when you start to get that, then you start to question, what is that?
Interesting. So let's go back to Cherry Blossom. You met your former wife, and how long ago was that?
Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember.
15, 20 years?
Maybe 17 years ago. That's my guess, because Aaron is 17 now.
Okay.
And so you got to add an extra on there.
Yeah. So you came here to Dumageddon or to?
Yes, we met here, and I didn't know anything about Valencia. So I wondered, where do I live in this country? So I went up to northern Cebu and Bogo and looked at the islands all up there, and I don't like big cities, so ended up looking in Boracay, and the inner guidance said, that's it, we're going to go there. So ended up making friends, leasing a small resort with 4 rooms, and we leased that for 3 years and lived there.
And how was that in Boracay? Did you like it there? Or?
I love Boracay.
Is that where they, I've never been there, is that where they changed the rules lately, and like only so many people can go there, and they tore down a bunch of seawawalls and stuff, and
Boracay
clean
is
it
that,
up?
Yes, it's just off the tip of Panay Island, where the government went in and said you built too much, and you didn't take care of the sewage as well. They put all new water systems in.
They made it better.
Yeah, so it got overbuilt. So back then they just gotten electricity, and they were building more, and it was more quiet and beautiful. And as more people found out, more big money coming in from everywhere, other nationalities coming in, and I realized this is not my place. You had to go outside. You couldn't buy anything there. So whatever you wanted to build or buy, if you had a business, you'd have to go across on the little banca, a bus, or a V-hire, go to Calibo, pay everybody, all these stages to carry stuff, and by the time you got it back there, you were exhausted, and if you needed one little thing, well, guess where you went? So and it's a party island. I didn't realize that. The nature is overwhelming. It's very beautiful. It's very beautiful. But it's not the place where I would ever choose to live. And I lived in Baguio. I was a school teacher in an international school in Baguio.
And what did you teach in school?
I taught geography, which is what I'm trained in, and I also taught English.
And what years, what age children?
That was, I was teaching, I'm a high school teacher, but at that point I taught grade 6.
Well, interesting.
So it's 6 through 12.
They're difficult at that age, aren't they, the sixth graders?
Oh, it was a hard time for these kids.
Now in Utah, what they do, where my daughters went through sixth grade, is they have a sixth grade center. They go to fifth grade, and then sixth grade is a whole separate school.
Oh.
All the sixth graders. Then they go seventh, eighth, and ninth, junior higher than high school.
Well, no, they don't have, I never heard of that one. I've been gone so many years. I've been more years outside of America than I've lived there. So I grew up in the state of Illinois in the middle in Decatur.
Yeah.
And then I lived mostly in Hawaii for some years. And I lived in Alaska. And I lived a little in Seattle, Washington, and a little in Marin County across from the San Francisco Bay Bridge. So that's my time in America. And I'm gone so long, I'm just a citizen of the world.
Do you ever go back to America?
I went back once. My inner guidance told me, it said, and I told people, okay, I'll go back to America if I get a free ticket. How will you ever get a free ticket to go back? So there was a business in town. The older owner was sick. They found somebody. That person said no. I found out about it. I said, I'm ready. I'll leave tomorrow. So I got a free ticket to go back to the U.S.
Wow.
To take them back.
Oh, to take them back. Okay,
Yeah, because it was sick.
Okay. Oh, I understand. You escorted a sick person back to America.
Yeah,
Where did you go in
This person was
America?
older and sick and in a wheelchair and
Okay,
needed some
got it.
help. So I escorted him back and got a free ticket.
Amazing.
Yeah,
And
funny.
where did you go in America?
I went up to Marin County where I used to live, and I have friends there. And so I stayed there, and it was cold and it was winter, and it was a new experience that I don't like cold as much anymore.
How long ago was this, approximately?
Oh gosh, I don't know. That must have been 8, 9 years ago by now. It's I've been here for so long. This is home.
Now, so what about your visa and stuff? Since you're married to a Filipino, do you have a special visa?
Yeah, I've worked all that out again. Visas, you just gotta find out whatever is possible. The 13A, married to a Filipina, and if you have to change from that, but there are different ways that you can do that. So that's a whole nother talk for somebody who's really good with visa.
Yeah. Well, the thing about the Philippines is at least my opinion, they really welcome foreigners here. You know, I've never had, whenever time I've gone down to immigration, I renew mine every 2 months. They've always been very kind to me and friendly and helpful, and they never said you've been here for years and it's time for you to leave, nothing like that. So, that's what I like about it. Where I heard in Thailand, it's much different now.
I brought a Philippine, when I lived in Hong Kong, I'm also an international school teacher in a school there. And then I finished that contract, and I was free, and I'm on the front page of the South China Morning Post. I'm bringing a Philippine healer from the Philippines to Hong Kong to do healings by donation, to introduce people, to help people. And of course, the medical establishment didn't like it at all. And so that was one of those funny stories. I flew to Japan. They paid my way for the group that's coming on the tour to the Philippines. And then when I came back, I was barred entry into the country by immigration.
Of Japan?
In Hong Kong.
Oh, Hong Kong, okay.
Because the medical establishment, they didn't like dealing with this stuff. They didn't know what it was, and it was too weird. And so they thought the easiest way was just to get rid of me. So here I am in an immigration jail for 4 days in Hong Kong, and I'm treated really bad because all the people in there were overstate Indians and Pakistanis and drug dealers and people that had done bad stuff, and I'm in there with them. And so I started showing the news clippings from the newspaper to the immigration people. We're in the jail there and where I'm confined. And then they started treating me better. And then I showed it because Japan Airlines would not take me back to Japan because that's not my home country. So I'm stuck. So in the end, British Airways somehow got the information that I wasn't such a bad guy. They let me get a ticket with the last bit of money I had. I couldn't get into my bank account. I couldn't get anything I had out of Hong Kong. I spent that last money and I had like 15 equivalent of 15 US dollars left. And I flew to the Philippines. And as soon as I got in immigration, the lady looked at my denied entry into Hong Kong and she said, "Ah, many Filipinos are denied like you. Welcome back to the Philippines."
Now, so you never got your things back from Hong Kong?
I had to have them sent by sea mail.
But you did get them back, yeah.
Over time. And then it was okay. Some years went by. I went back in. Everything was all right. But on the form of the reason for denied entry, it was blank.
Oh.
Because there was no reason. They just couldn't deal with this whole thing because it's too weird.
Right, right. And so your wife and I you left Boracay and came here. And that was how long ago approximately?
Oh, we were there for the 4 years in Boracay, and then we came here and we bought the land. We'd come earlier to look around. We got in Valencia and it was a clear day. When we were here before, we got in Dumaguete and it was a clear day. And I never saw Valencia because the clouds were down and I never saw the mountain. So it was a clear day and I said, "Wow, there's a mountain. What's up there?" "Valencia." So we came up here and we drove up. And nothing was nice like it is now. It was, it was all dirt road, all up here. Nobody went up farther. It was just paved up part way. And I saw this, and the inner guidance said, "That's it. We're going to move here." So we asked around. Some land came up. That's how it happened.
That's where Pyramid House is.
Yeah.
And
then my inner guidance said, "Build a pyramid." Don't ask me why. It's built on the same scale as the Great Pyramid in Egypt. So it creates a pyramid energy.
And I stayed there when I first came here for 10 days. So
that's why there's no room on the top floor, because right at the top floor there, where you lie down, is the strongest energy. And so people that are sensitive can feel it. And it's very hard to sleep up there because the energy is so strong.
And so you built that, and then what was the whole concept of Pyramid House? Tell us more about your concept and how it worked and everything, what all was done there. Because it's still there, but it's just an Airbnb right now.
It was a healing center where people could come from all over, and people came from, a lot came from this area. So I helped people with their lives. I gave free health consultations for years for people. As a part of the service of sharing what I know. And we had large groups, and Leonore, my ex-wife, would cook, and she's an incredible cook. She actually went through culinary school here, went to Cebu, became a professional chef with the Shangri-La Hotel, and she can really cook. She's really gifted.
I remember before I came here, I was checking, like you always check the reviews of places, and all the reviews that I read about Pyramid House when you were running it and Leonora was running it were excellent. Everybody said nice things about it. They all had a wonderful time. I didn't see any negative reviews. Everything was just positive. They really enjoyed it. And she was a super host on Airbnb. She still is now, I think.
Yeah, sure. And a beautiful native place like this, people don't build them. They just don't do it. So I had to do all the research, learn how to dry the wood, build a wood-fired dryer to dry all the wood and the bamboo so it's totally dry, have a big in-ground tub to soak it in a chemical mix that's not so bad, that doesn't cause cancer, that will treat the wood. If you don't do all that, it falls apart. That's why people don't build with wood. But if you do it right, you get old cocoa lumber, really old. Has to be dried, totally dry, and then bugs don't eat it. They can't. It's too hard.
Well, And so how long did it take you to build it?
Oh, we built that thing in like a year and a half.
No kidding.
We had a lot of people. Boy, let me tell you, that was just when I first got this land, and I walked alone all the way down below and all the way down to the river, climbing up and down, and said, man, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but it's beautiful. So you just start one step at a time, and that's how it works.
And so you had Pyramid House for how many years? How many years did you actually live there?
Oh, I must have been there. I was there for our whole marriage together of 12 years.
Okay.
So,
a long time.
Yeah. A lot of people know us in this area because they came, and people that needed help with their health. Other people used it as a seminar place where they could bring groups and kids.
And so when you and Eleanor, Leonor separated, what did you do then? Where did you go and what did you do, and how did that affect your life?
After that, it was a little strange time. I wondered, can I really love again? Because this was not what I expected and planned, and you know, that's just what life is. Life is what happens, but it's not what I had planned. So
what was the age difference between the two of you, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I think it was about 25 years or something like that.
Pretty average around here, pretty
Yeah,
normal.
sure, yeah.
So anyway, sorry, go ahead.
So I moved out into a small apartment and in Valencia, and I just kind of lived my life and loved my life just like I always do. I do now. That's how I live. And so what I did is I used my mind and my heart energy, and I put out that thought and that energy that said, find someone that wants to really love and commit. And so I looked, but not really looking, you know, and I pretty much kind of gave up, and then somehow, you know, met Claire, but Claire was younger. She's a school teacher, elementary trained teacher, but she was younger. I'm not looking for a younger woman, I'm looking for somebody older. But somehow, you know, the inner guidance again, it said, that's it. So.
And how long have you been together now?
I don't know, about 4 years, something like that.
And so where we are now, how did you come across this piece of property and where
we just ask everywhere, you know, all the locals know land for sale. So wherever you go to and everybody knows me here, so they introduced me to places, and I looked, and one of the reasons I like this place is it's close to Pyramid, because I want my two boys to have a mother and a father. I want the two boys to be able to be best friends and grow up together.
You can really walk there from here, you know.
Yeah, sure. So that was another reason. And I need nature and quiet, because there's a lot of karaoke and noise and busy and up along, and it's not the same. So here, it's quiet and it's beautiful, and I need the nature.
That was one thing about Pyramid House when I was there, because I was teaching English online. I was tutoring, and they had that sawmill.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize it was there, but there was some days it was so loud I couldn't teach, because I do it all online, you know, live, you know, chatting with people. Has that been there always, or is that a new thing?
You want to pause?
No, it's fine.
Okay. So when they started, they had one chainsaw, and they didn't have as much business. And as time went on, they got two chainsaws, and I'm not sure if the mufflers still work well.
No.
But there's nothing you can do, because they're here. That's their business. It's just the way it is. But people don't really like that. But everyone is related, and they're all family, and so that's just the way it is.
Yeah, that's the Philippines.
It was hard for everybody to hear that early in the morning.
Yeah, they started at 8, sometimes wouldn't finish till 5. Yeah.
And so finally they got a bandsaw where they could continue to cut the wood. And you know, this country is everything. And you have to You have to just love the country for what it is and try to avoid, and it's the same everywhere, but here it's just more in your face.
Yeah, yeah. Now, can you hear it here?
Oh, no.
Yeah, this is such a cool place to get here. Describe how to get here, because you come down this beautiful road through the jungle, and there's a river, and then right up the hill there, and here you are.
Well, from up along where the pyramid is as part of Valencia, you go up to the top, which we call the Y. The left splits to Casarora Waterfall, where all the tourists go, and the right is goes straight down to the little river here. This is the same river where Pyramid is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you sure? So it's so much nature here that nature is a feminine energy. And I need a strong feminine energy. That's one of the reasons why men are attracted to women, because the soul has male and female energy. And in a life, when we take on one form or another, male or female, we're missing the opposite aspect of our soul's energy. Mm-hmm. So we're attracted, usually the person we're attracted to, not the personality, but energetically or maybe karmically, but they represent that opposite energy in you.
Interesting, very interesting. So, are you still teaching and doing your seminars, anything like that? Or are you kind of retired, or?
I've been pretty quiet the last 5 years, but I'm going to start again. It's time.
Oh, you are? Are you going to do it here, do it someplace else? Or?
Oh, I'll do here. I'll travel some when this COVID madness is somehow figured out.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody knows what's going to happen there, but it's getting frustrating. I think we're fortunate, though, being here in the Philippines, where at least we have some freedoms. Like I can go into the city, and I can go to a restaurant and go to the mall, and I just can't go to Palawan or any other part of the Philippines.
Well,
that's
some other parts are more strict in Manila and in Cebu,
right.
And we're very lucky here. And in Valencia, they're a lot more easygoing.
They are. They're much more easygoing.
Sure, and I'm over the 60. I'm not supposed to go out at all.
Neither am I.
But they understand. We drive the vehicles. Maybe the partner can't drive, so.
Yeah. I've never been turned away, but technically, like you said, we're not. I think even now we're not supposed to be out, are we?
Nope.
No. So.
Yeah. But it's okay, and I'm happy I'm here.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll wrap up part 2 here, and I'm hoping that we can do a part 3 on another day, because there's so many things I want to talk to you about, and I want to go into more about your beliefs and everything. The past life regression fascinates me. I used to do a radio show back in America about 10 years ago, and one of my guests and a friend of mine was a lady named Dr. Lori Nadell from Harvard University, and she used to also regress people, and accidentally back in the 70s, she'd take people back to their childhood to get over trauma.
Sure.
Accidentally, back in the 70s, she took somebody to a past life.
Sure.
And then she started researching that, and very interesting subject, past lives, and I hope that one day we can do maybe
sure,
a whole
I'll
video.
do past life regression with you. Sure, I'm trained in that.
Yeah,
I've taught hypnosis.
Yeah.
So it's a fascinating subject.
Yeah.
In fact, some of the most clear information on how life works come from what they call life between life. The deeper hypnosis, where it takes much longer to get into that state, but the personality is able to get out of the way, and the soul and other spirits can speak. And every question that's ever been asked on how life works has been asked by thousands of people and written down, and it's all out there, but it's not so well known.
Interesting. So it's like the Akashic records that Casey talked about.
Well, but these are just ordinary human beings trained in this technique that will record and write down the same questions. The most famous is Dr. Michael Newton, and he's trained people, and they're all over, and you can watch some of their stuff on YouTube. And boy, the books are incredible. How much of your soul comes in each incarnation, all the life review, everything that happens. They're similar to the near-death experiences that people have when they talk about what happened.
Right.
And then they come back. It's the same information, but it's even more detailed in because it's recorded right there. It's not the memories coming back later from the near-death experience.
Interesting.
So incredible questions about life.
Well, that'll be a really great video, and so all my listeners, and if you'd please in the comments section tell us what else you'd like me to ask Dan about and what you would like us to do in the following videos. But I really appreciate your time and fascinating interview, and I hope I get to spend more time with you. So thanks a lot.
All right.